Google Ads sales funnels. I'm going to tell you how to set up a very specific sales funnel on Google Ads that you can use to completely dominate your market, okay? This is a funnel I use over and over and over again to start companies up that I personally have ownership stake in, as well as numerous other client accounts that I also, help people like yourself with their ads in terms of an ad agency that I also run. So this is a predictable, repeatable strategy that basically anybody can use to get a lot of results out of Google Ads. Now, the typical person who thinks Google Ads, if you will, they think it's search ads, let alone, despite that there's YouTube ads, there's display ads, there's discovery ads, and there's shopping ads, of course, as well. Or they might just do shopping, and they think that's all there is to it. The key thing about building a sales funnel on Google Ads is you can start out educating the market. You can pinpoint the people that are soon just about ready to be buying from your market and get way more out of an individual market advertising through Google than you could just going after them once they're ready to buy from somebody. Naturally, I certainly cannot blame anybody for starting out there. People that want to buy, you have $3,000 a month or $1,000 a month to spend on ads, start there. It'll have the quickest way to ramp up. But if that's all you're limiting yourself to, you're going to get 10% of what is possible to get out of your market through Google Ads. Do only just doing that. There's everything else out there. Because here's the key thing to know. People like buying from the brands. Just like yourself. If you're going to buy a lawnmower, right, you're going to want to, obviously, unless you could only have money to buy the cheapest one, you want to buy from the brand because that's the most sure to keep working. So most people like yourself don't have the status of being a known brand in your space, particularly if it's a smaller niche, a micro niche. If you're selling stickers, you do sticker printing, of course you're not in a big enough niche where you can even be well known out there. So what you do is you artificially create this aura of being a brand for the people that are going to be soon buying from you and or just have interacted with you. They now think you're the brand, so you end up with the business most of the time. And most of the time I can say that confidently because your competition isn't going to be doing this. Your competition's idea of making money is to run the ad when they type in stickers for sale and either get in the sale right then and there or nothing. And basically they throw away the other 90% of sales they could have had with that limited mindset. So with that said, I'm going to go through the funnel that I set up to absolutely rake in the maximum sales you can, still profitably, of course, off of Google Ads, marketing to people before they're buying, during the point which they're buying, which you also still do, and then after they're in the research or the elimination stages of deciding who they're buying from, which is normally what is called remarketing. There's a very specific way to do remarketing that people don't pay attention to. Just beating your damn buyer over the head over and over again saying that they should buy from you is dumb. And there's a whole different approach that I use that makes whatever you're paying to get, once you finally get people to your site, have it pay off twice the rate than you would otherwise, namely regurgitating back to them your value proposition, that you can be trusted, how you're different than the competition, and so forth. So with that said, I'll go through this and give you a real life example here of how we did this before so you can understand how you're also going to do this as well. So top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. And I'm going to go through examples on each one here. So starting off here, okay, we do this all the time, but I'm going to give you an example from the pool builder industry. So in-ground pools. And I do admit, obviously, this strategy doesn't work when you're selling a $20 broom because either you're going to buy a damn $20 broom, like at the spur of a moment, you're probably not going to buy one. You're not going to give a shit if this broom over here is 40% better than this broom. So creating a sales funnel to sell a $20 broom really isn't that powerful, basically. It would increase your sales, but relative to the effort put in, there's not a lot of return on investment, whereas maybe just starting another business might be another way to, or an easier path to make more money for yourself. But on the flip side, the more expensive the thing you sell, whether product or service, the more this funnel, is where the money actually is, because you're eliminating effectively all your competition by being the one that are willing to not act like a prostitute and just ask for that client's money when they raise their hand and they say they're ready to buy. You actually put effort in to educate the consumer and the market before they go to buy, knowing that they're going to be buying someday soon, and so that when they do go to buy, you've already got the respect and they're going to go with you a majority of the time. So in the pool builder space, swimming pool, in-ground swimming pool, any more these days, if you're in a major metro market, you're talking about at least 50 grand for a pool. So you have a lot of headroom to spend money to get somebody before they are actually going to buy. And really what it comes down to is you could spend a lot to acquire a customer in that market, so you could do a lot even before they go to buy to start, basically training them that you're the big bad player in the market and have it still pay off. Versus the $20 broom, you got $2 you can spend to get a customer. You really don't have room to do it. But more importantly, not only do you, when you sell something more expensive like an in-ground pool, you have more money to do more stuff on the front end to get the customer, but they actually want more information, so they they go hand in hand, if you will. You're going to buy an in-ground pool, you don't want to just pick someone at random. Some people do, most people do not. And so what you're doing is just shaping the perception of the market, so most of the people in your local market, if you're that home or in-ground pool construction company like we had as multiple clients in that space as a client, that the perception overall is that you're the biggest, baddest MFer in the market, and if you're going to buy from somebody and you want quality, this is the company you're going to deal with, effectively. In other words, if they're not just buying on price, they go with you because you're the biggest. Why would you not just go with because they want to make sure they're not going to get effed over. Why not just go with the brand? This is how it's pretty simple. Be perceived as the brand. You get most of the money running ads through Google Ads in your market. So with that said, you're going to run ads at the top of the market before people actually go to buy. Through YouTube, display network ads through Google Ads, discovery ads, and search ads technically as well. Search ads, a lot of people just think of that as a way to get a customer who's ready to buy now. If somebody's searching for how to hire a pool company, a pool construction company, you want to have an ad there to guide them to a page on your site or a video. A lot of times from a search ad will drive them to a YouTube video, so that why just leave it up to chance for that person to get educated on some other person's way of doing things and then not get that customer, when really you could have just spent a little bit of money to educate the consumer before they went to go buy, so you end up with the customer a majority of the time. This is what this top of the funnel stuff is about. But there's so many different ways to do this so that you basically become the default option here. Okay? Of which I've labeled here okay, good, better, and best. So basically, out of all the ways that you can market to somebody before they're going to buy, if you will, I'm going to say in-market audiences are the least good, meaning if somebody's in market for a pool already, and Google says that you can target those people, you just have to, through a default audience that they have, or you create one, whereas you could type in, if somebody's typed in anything to do with in-ground pool construction in the past, or in-ground pool construction companies, that kind of thing, you can have banner ads show up for people and video ads on YouTube and so on and so forth. You can market to this person. I want to market to that person, and I want to market just more than we're just a company who does this. I'm going to market content that, in-ground pool buyer's guide. Top 10 things you need to know before buying an in-ground pool. Don't get ripped off buying an in-ground pool. which the negative stuff like that actually does quite a bit better than the positive stuff. It's like a 2-to-1 difference in terms of the impact, in terms of the number of emails you can generate, which, by the way, you want to do as well. You don't want to just educate them and do nothing. My favorite is to educate them and then have an important piece of content in the middle and then have it blocked out, and then they have to enter their email to get it. Then I can get them into an email sequence. Then once they've read several emails, I've got them. If they're going to buy, they're going to buy from me. So you can do that in and itself as a strategy to get in front of them before they buy, so you lock yourself as the default choice once they do buy. You can also target on Google search, like I was talking about a second ago, if they're searching for stuff like how to buy an in-ground pool, how to pick an in-ground pool company, these how-to searches, if you will. But you can not only just target those people on Google, you can also target those people on YouTube search, so that ultimately that your content shows up there, which unfortunately YouTube doesn't make it so easy to show up in the search results for those people. But if they usually start out on Google making a related search to that, you can create an audience in that in Google Ads for yourself if they search for a how-to term like that. And then if they are going to go to YouTube at some point after, you can have a discovery campaign going so that you show up at the top of the search results on YouTube, and your video content supplements anything you got in front of them on Google while they were there, while they were there, if you will. So you could do that. That's good. Better would be to target competitor site visits. So if they've been to your direct competitor sites in your local area, in this case, other in-ground pool builders, you create an audience for them, and then you start targeting them with your content. You also can target competitor searches. So if they typed in a competitor's name in Google search, you can create an audience around that and target them. Furthermore, you could target your competitors' customers, which for in-ground pools, that specifically doesn't really apply, because you don't buy 2 in-ground pools. Once you got it, you got it. So being like half pregnant doesn't work. But if you're in a market where repeat sales are a factor, it's fantastic to go ahead and target your competitors' customers. You could do that through a company called LiveRamp, which has access to credit card purchasing data. So if you're talking about like protein powder for like weightlifters, if you sell that kind of stuff on an e-commerce website like we've done before, you can actually, if they bought from a GNC, which normally sells it offline, you can actually go to this LiveRamp company through them. You can access all the data from all the customers who bought from GNC protein powder, create a custom audience, which you can then import that to your Google account, and then now you can target them on YouTube display discovery as well, knowing that they've bought from a competitor in your market, if you will. So you can get competitor purchase data through LiveRamp, and they get that data from Visa, MasterCard, and so on and so forth. I've got a separate video about that, like targeting people who bought using credit card purchase data on my other videos, which you can search for on my channel homepage if you'd like more information about that. But that would be better. And then the best, in my opinion here, is to target people who are on your competitors' channels. Why? Because if you're going to market information, you want to market the information while they're actively looking for the information. So if they're on your competitor's channel, like our in-ground pool builder, if they have a channel as well, I want to have my video show up while they're watching their videos, presumably having better content. Most people, if they had a video ad show up for them there, they would say, why their in-ground pools are better, which you could technically do that. But in most cases, you're going to be better off giving them, because they're looking for information about how to buy an in-ground pool. You show them information that's better than what they're watching and say you can watch the rest of this here, and then now you've snatched their attention. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to target YouTuber reviews. So outside our competitor's channel, if somebody's had a video on YouTube talking about that competitor, I'm also going to have my video ads play during that video. And then furthermore, on review sites or blogs. So if you've got an industry review site, you sell mattresses, there's a mattress review site, you want to advertise on those sites using Google Display Network ads, have banner ads show up on those sites. Same thing with any blogs, and even if it's not a dedicated industry review blog, if there's a blog post talking about how to buy an in-ground pool, and it ranks high on Google for how to buy an in-ground pool, you go directly to that website and you make a note of that website, and then you can target that exact web page on that website through Google Display Network. Or you could go to that website and buy a banner ad that redirects to a piece of content on your site, like how to buy an in-ground pool foolproof guide, and do that. But the general idea here, as you can see, is with the data that's available through Google, through these intermediaries like LiveRamp, there's no reason why the person's going to make some sort of search at some point if they're going to buy an in-ground pool. You're going to be there no matter where it is, whether that's on a review site, YouTube, whether they're searching for it on Google, whether they're on a, basically just on a random article on the internet, you're going to be there. And you can do this. So if you really want to dominate your market, you get this content out there everywhere if it's pertaining to buying something from your market. And of course, adding to that, if they're just in market for what you have, you can also have content show up for them. So they could be on CNN.com, they see your ad that says, don't get ripped off buying a pool, click here to see why, and you can get them to read content. But that's the least important thing. The most important thing is every single place online where they're looking for information about buying, you're there every time. And you can do that just through Google Ads, because you can show up on YouTube, and through Display Network you can get on basically any other website that you want on the internet with the banner ad as well. Discovery, of course, that gets you on like Gmail as well for the most part. And then on search, if they're searching for stuff, try to pick them off as they're making those searches on Google, directing them to content as well. Once you've done all this, almost everybody's going to know of you. Once they get to the point and go to Google search and type in a buyer search like in-ground pool contractors, Tampa, we know because we've tested this, you're going to get 4 times the click-through rate, roughly speaking, than you would have got otherwise, not having done all this, what I call pre-marketing in your market, to show up in all the places where people are looking for buying information, and actually having quality information there that's better than the information that exists in your market. So you can't just half-ass it, your content, to get this to work. Hire some random person who's not an industry expert, who or whatnot, and it's at least better than the content that's out there. But if they've read even one piece of content, they're going to remember who you are for the most part. And if they read multiple, they're clicking on you every time once they finally go search for the in-ground pool contractor in Tampa, because there's 4 ads to click on. And part of the reason why they click on one ad over the other is because they read the domain name listed underneath the ad. They don't just read the ad by itself. They don't always read that domain name, but they read it enough where if they are way more familiar with you than anybody else, you're going to get clicked on way higher percentages of the time. For us, we know we can get like 4 times higher click-through rate if they're deeply, like if we're just everywhere, effectively. And I do mean everywhere. So they can't possibly miss you, and everywhere they look, there you are. They're going to click on yours. And so what you could think about, the way that you should think about this is, this by itself, the reason why people don't do this is because they don't think it gets an ROI, which is dumb, because as a buyer, if you saw really impressive content out there about how to buy a knife set or whatever, when you go to buy that knife set, obviously you're going to be more likely to buy that knife set. It's just a matter of how much. So anyway, but businesses, they're always don't want to think a certain way because they don't want to make things complicated, whereas they like to see content from people they buy from in order to buy from them. You can think of this as just an investment, so that when they go to actually buy, and go to search for for a company who sells what you sell on Google, that you end up with the business at 4 times the rate, because they click through it 4 times the rate, plus it's a higher conversion rate once they get to your site on top of it. So it's 4 times the click through, plus you got another doubling of the conversion rate. Now you're talking about 8 to 10 times more business when they do go to search for a company in your area that does what you do, than if you didn't do the pre-marketing up here to show up in all the places where they're going to inquire about buying what you're selling beforehand. And really that's what it is. So you could get zero direct ROI from this. You're paying to get email addresses. You can kind of gauge things based upon that, and you should try to lower your cost per email, yes. But it's very hard to tell that there's ROI there when somebody reads a piece of content and then they opt into an email. Eventually you could go ahead and find your customers and back that back to an original email that opted in something somewhere and kind of get a gist of what you're making. But even then it's tough. All you want to do is do all this pre-marketing, expect no direct return from it, and just watch how your overall revenue goes up once you start doing it. Start with your targeting these buyer searches with your campaigns, and then add in the pre-marketing content. I guarantee you're going to make way more money from your search ads once you've done this. And it doesn't have to be expensive. If you're spending $3,000 a month on search ads and you aren't able to scale that anymore, throw another $3,000 at just marketing your best content to these people that are in market and want information about what you sell, and you're at minimum doubling your sales again. So it really just extracts more out of your search campaigns in general than you could have got with the search campaigns and all the best practices there you could have got otherwise. But furthermore, it doesn't stop there. Now you got, once they searched for in-ground pool seller in Tampa, you got remarketing. So you can do a lot once they get to your site. Now the process really opens up. You show them 10, 20 different individual unique pieces of content. Basically all the content that they were supposed to see up here that they didn't see yet, you're going to make sure they see it. Because it costs a penny to have a banner ad show up for somebody who's hit your site already. You pay 7, 10, whatever bucks to get them to your site for if you sell in-ground pools, but then people won't spend a penny to have a banner ad show up for somebody that says 10 things you need to know before buying a pool to get them to a page so that you can build more rapport with the user, so they're more likely to go with you once they get 3 or 4 quotes. And even if you're not the cheapest one, they end up going with you a higher percentage of the time anyway. So, and just like the pre-marketing, people don't do the remarketing because they don't see a direct return from it. But what it does is it gets the people that searched for in-ground pool seller Tampa to produce more revenue than it would have otherwise. You'll double what you can get out of the clicks that you paid for of the in-market buyers in your market because they're more confident. And just think about it from your perspective as well. If you're going to go buy something and you're trying to decide which company is best, and one company has had all this content show up for you after you've left the site and the other companies haven't, and it was good, who you're going to buy from? I mean, it's just obvious if you think about it from that perspective. So you could have banner ads that direct people to written content. You can have banner ads point people to in-depth YouTube videos. You can have text ads that show up on Google's display network that point people to articles on your site or videos again, what they call responsive display ads. You can also have video ads pop up for people while they're on YouTube after they've been your site to finish educating the buyer what's important. And of course, everything that's important is all stuff that you have as well. So it's basically selling without having to directly sell. If they eliminate everybody else through the education you provide, of course they can only go with you. That's the best way to sell that you could sell. It's the same thing if somebody contacts you and you had to talk one-on-one with the customer. Instead of telling them why they should buy from you, you just explain what's important and educate them why you don't want to do this, and then they end up with you as a default option. That's what you want to do. And through the content, you're essentially just replicating the same thing. That conversation, if every buyer that you wanted to buy from you, you could have a personalized conversation with them, you would end up selling way more than if you didn't. So the content really is just that. You're just having a conversation with the buyer that you aren't there to do physically, and it automates that entire process effectively. So what you're doing through these marketing ads is you're building trust, most importantly, but also you're building urgency or pushing urgency. So more so with products, you'll put an ad out there in your remarketing that says 10% off this month for St. Patrick's Day. And that gets the person who says, yeah, I'm going to buy, but I'm going to wait till later to buy now, because the more people procrastinate, the less of an ROI you're going to get from the traffic you got to your site in the first place that was looking to buy from your search campaigns. Because not that people, they have good intentions to come back and buy, but a lot of people forget, they piss their money away on something else, whatever. And then you never get the sale. You're going to get more ROI from the people that typed in that they want to buy your product on Google search and that you got to your site by giving them a bit of an incentive to buy now versus later. So you are building urgency through your remarketing, and then also clarity. Clarity on why you, and you specifically. That you have a warranty program, you have, we'll do banner ads that have testimonials on them. So one banner ad that they see will just have one customer's testimonial on it. Then another banner ad they see a day later has another customer testimonial on it. Another banner ad they see another day later has our Google 5-star average rating on there. The next day they see an ad and that has what we'll say our product's been higher rated than the leading competition, and then direct them to an article where we did a side-by-side comparison. So there's so much you could do here if you are willing to put the time in. But the beauty behind this is once it's done, it's set up, it just sells and sells for you. It's automated. For the next basically 10 years, you'll have an automated system that is able to take somebody that was just starting to get curious about buying in your market to becoming a customer, and you basically didn't have to do anything but make sure that they were well educated through the process. So in the beginning, when you're doing what I call the pre-marketing, where they're looking for information on how to buy, and you're on YouTube, display, discovery, search. When you get to the remarketing, it's the same thing. You're getting on these same channels. So anyway, the top of the funnel is before they go to make a search for, buying whatever you sell on Google search, you're doing all this. The mid funnel is when they do to go to make the search on to buy what you sell. That's the mid funnel, and then bottom of the funnel is after they've got to your site. And you're reaffirming to them that what's important is, the stuff what's important to buy is the stuff that you're telling them, so that they end up making sure that they buy from you because you have all the stuff that is important. Of course, you should be honest, but legitimately speaking, you should have something that is a good value, and then if you don't sell it, it's your fault, because you could easily, through these remarketing ads, convey to them why it is that it's so good in a way that they'll be forced to know. And so if you want the other half of the sales you can get in your market, you got to do this remarketing follow-up as well. There's a power of 7s in marketing that says you'll always make more money marketing to the same people more than once than spending all your money marketing to more people but only once. You could look up power of 7s in marketing, so this isn't just me saying this. And so with the power of remarketing and then being able to send them to different content like I was talking about, nobody's going to be even doing half of anything that well in your market, and you'll just seem like the default option every time, basically speaking. So anyway, that's a Google Ads sales funnel that I use on the businesses, especially that I'm an investor in, as well as for clients' campaigns where we have the time and money and resources to go through. Because I'll admit, this is not cheap to do. However, like I said, the guy that you see doing $10 million a year in your business space or your niche, they didn't get there overnight. Start out with your $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month, whatever Google search campaign targeting buyers, and then instead of pissing that money away on a Porsche, invest in the content and start building up your content stores, so that eventually later on you're that big company, because you out-competed just through awareness, through the content, ads you can run to people that you already know want that content about how to buy. You're there and they're not, and you slowly get more and more of the market share as a result. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give the video a like, and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel about how to make money with Google, but not only that, Facebook, LinkedIn, and ads and so on and so forth. And it's coming from somebody who has 15 years of ad strategy experience and manages dozens of ad accounts on any given time or basis to give you the information about what works and what doesn't work to make money with online ads for your business and what you're trying to do. So if there is any information you want to pay attention to, this is the exact information that you want. And furthermore, if you like my channel, I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find my written content as well as over at entrepreneur.com at my column there. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, or have any ad-related question, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. I'd love to be able to give back to you for helping us grow the channel and watching just in general. As a side, if you are looking for a little bit more help, I offer services to our clients to raise their sales that they're getting from their ads or leads and do so without taking a fee from our clients until you get some results up front. Nobody else does this in our entire space. And so if you want to see if we can work together on a contingency basis like that, you simply have to reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com and we'll see if we can work together. Of course, the only catch is we got to know we can get great results on your stuff, but I'd be more than happy to give you a free assessment to see what's there, what's possible with your campaigns as it appears. Beyond that, if you aren't looking for an ad agency like we are to manage your ads fully, but you want to shortcut your way to success, we have ad templates that work in over 100 markets that you can use to your advantage to copy and paste results into your ad accounts for your business, of which we could tell you the results you would get with the templates we've developed in your industry already, assuming we've worked in your industry before buying them as well, in terms of cost per lead, ROI, that kind of thing. So with us working over 100 markets at this particular time, the chances are high that we've worked in your market, and if so, you're going to save tons of time and money just using what we've developed for your market already for your own market, or in your own ad accounts for your business. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. We also got these templates. If you want to start up a second business, start with the templates that work for, that we've got that work for different markets, and you're basically guaranteeing success in your business if you want to do that. Whether that's also a lead selling business, getting into e-commerce, as long as you're not in the same geographic territory as our client, it's all fair game. You can use our templates. So if you're interested in that as well, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. But I'll wrap it all up with that. Thank you very much for watching my video here today, and I hope to see you on the next one. See you later.